Morning, Ramy.
And good morning, Steve. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Thanks very much. عاوز بس ارحب بالناس الموجودين معايا دلوقتي. I will speak in English, Steve, a little bit, but let me introduce in Arabic first. عاوز ارحب بيكم في الورك شوب بتاعت البيزنس اناليسيس. احنا مستضيفين معانا النهارده ستيفن تويد، وهو from British Computer Society BCS في لندن، ودي من احد الممبرز او الفاونديشنز المتخصصه في البيزنس اناليسيس، وهو هيتكلم عنها اكتر. ومعانا برضو انجي عيسى، وهي الفاوندر بتاعت بزنس بوردر لاين، واحنا هنا بزنس اناليسيس بروفايدر. ومعانا مصطفى كريم، وإز سينيور بروسيس اناليست، وانا معاكم بزنس اناليست يونت هيد في BBL. وان شاء الله هنبدا مع بعضينا مع ستيف، هيبدا يعرفنا على البي سي اس والكورسز المتعلقه بالفاونديشن بزنس اناليسيس، وايه هي البريتش كمبيوتر سوسايتي، وهي دي عباره عن ايه. وبرضه في نفس الوقت لو في حد عنده اسئله او حد عنده اي استفسارات يا ريت يكتبها على الشات. وبعد ما يخلص ان شاء الله ستيف، احنا هندخل برضو هندخل في الانترودكشن بتاعت الفاونديشن، وهنشرح بالظبط بالديتيلز الورك شوب بتاعت النهارده. ستيف, how are you? And welcome in this workshop. I was just telling them that we are going to introduce BCS and the foundation courses and memberships, certificates, and so on. Here in Egypt, there is a very big demand for business analysis, and many candidates and peoples really want to know about business analysis and what are the career path for this part, and also how they are going to lever their knowledge in business analysis. So now the mic is with you.
Okay.
And yes, and welcome again in this workshop.
Thank you. I'll share my screen if that's okay, Ramy.
Okay. Let me enable sharing.
Can you allow?
Yes, 1 minute. I guess Angie, she is the host. Angie, please enable the sharing for Steve.
Is Angie there?
Yeah, Angie's there.
She's quiet this morning. Oh, this afternoon. Yes. Morning too. You're only 2 hours ahead, I believe.
Now the share is with you. Okay.
Yeah, got it.
You can share. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me know, Ramy, when you can see.
Yes, I see now.
Okay, everybody. So just a few introductions. So I'm the international director for BCS. I cover pretty much the whole world, aside from the UK and Ireland, which is covered within the UK. And so my responsibility is to promote and support training providers around the world who deliver our certifications to business and to training providers involved in professional certifications. So BCS, we're called the British Computer Society, which is quite an old traditional name. And we have been around since 1957. So we're not unsubstantial in that regard. We do have a bit of a history. We're more commonly known, I guess, in the UK as the Chartered Institute for IT. So we were given a charter, a royal charter, and with that royal charter, we have certain responsibilities. One is a membership. So we have 65,000 members, and those members are international. and they are from everything from business leaders, educators, practitioners. Yesterday, I was in a review of the best CIO competition for Africa, where one of our members got a silver award, came second for the work he's done in developing ICT within the finance industry. So we're quite widespread. As I say, we have a Royal Charter, and our Royal Charter means that we work and sit between industry, government, and education. So we kind of sit in the middle of all those things. And our job is to maintain standards in the ICT industry. To make IT good for society is our kind of mission statement. And we also support education. So we have a policy department which speaks to government. It supports government on their educational policy. So we help write the education curriculum, for instance. We support industry by supporting standards, and SOFIA, which is the skills framework for our professional certifications, is another part of our responsibility. So we manage the standards within industry as well. And so we have a lot of responsibilities. At our core are our ethics and our standards. And so that is kind of one thing that when you join BCS as a member, you have to sign up to those various codes of ethics. So we have, in terms of our professional certifications, business analysis is by far our biggest and our most substantial. And we deliver around about 15 to 20,000 certificates in business analysis each year. And so it's very substantial for us. We also have about another 11 different subject areas outside business analysis, which may include cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, user experience, and others. So that's the kind of 60 plus different exams that we provide in those 12 core subject areas. We've delivered 700,000 over the last 10 years. And we have about 70 plus training providers, of which Business Borderlines is one, and a very good one for us. And we tend to think we have a good reputation, and we have to have a good reputation globally, not only because we're chartered, so we have to maintain those standards. So every training provider that we accredit has to meet those standards, and those standards are government recognized standards. So it's important that that the Business Borderlines are signed up to those, so they deliver the certification. So membership is interesting. We have a number of areas which I think people would be interested in. Post-nominals, so in terms of membership, you can start as an affiliate, and we also have a student membership. And as you progress through attaining more professional certifications and more experience and knowledge within the ICT industry, you can follow through to associate member, professional member, and fellow. And with those come what we call post-nominals, which means that you can add a series of a recognition of your standards after your name in your kind of business cards and what have you. We follow a code of conduct. We also have a mentoring network, and you can join as a mentee or a mentor. So we're always looking for new mentees, so people who are prepared to speak to students and speak to people within industries to support them. We have a huge number of different specialist groups and branches. The specialist groups tend to pick up on specific areas of ICT. So we have an artificial intelligence special interest group. We have a business analysis special interest group. We have an e-learning special interest group, and they meet online 3 times a year, and they will bring in other specialists from outside or from industry, and they will give a presentation and a talk in that particular specialist area. We also have a Springboard, which is a careers centre. That provides over 1,000 learning items, so small videos, drag and drop exercises and activities, which are all around supporting you in your career. So it can be how to interview people, how to deal with stress, how to deal with your boss, or how to deal with your colleagues. It's a whole host of different of learning videos that are all available. We then, of course, have networking events, which are huge webinars that we run across the industry for people to get involved with. We have a publishing department which publishes books. The latest business analysis book is the 4th edition. As a member, you get discount on that, about 25%. And then we have a number of ebooks which are also available free online through the membership portal. So it's a huge resource, really. I call it the one-stop shop for HR and training. So any kind of HR manager within industry who is looking for candidates who can bring this kind of support with them is very valued as far as we're concerned. That's why we build it. We do build it for our membership. So they're the membership grades: affiliate, student, associate, professional, and fellow. And at fellow, you become an FBCS, which are the post-nominals you can put after your name. And that means you're at the very top of the industry. You're very specialist in your knowledge, and that will be recognized globally around the world. You have associate member, which is AMBCS after your name, and professional member, which is MBCS. So all of those combined mean that you're at the very top, the very top of the industry. I mentioned earlier the framework that sits within industry that everybody is looking at, and it's called SOFIA Framework, which is the skills framework for the information age. So this is a framework that sits within industry that reflects the difficulty of the professional certifications that you sit. So in academia, for instance, you will have a degree or the equivalent of O levels or A levels as you progress through school. When you get into industry, there doesn't tend to be that kind of framework, that education framework, which sits around your qualifications and your experience. So the SOFIA framework is a way that business and the UK grade people's ability. So there are, let me just move, I've got something in front of me. So there are 7 levels which go from you are able to follow rules and instructions, to assist, to apply, enable, ensure and advise, and all the way through to set strategy and inspire. So they're the 7 core levels at which the professional certifications sit. And then within those 7 levels, there are over 102 skills, which you also contribute to, and you show your ability in delivering those skills through the certificates that you gain as you progress. So it's formally launched in 2000. We use it in over 180 countries. It's regulated as through a global process. So even though it's kind of part of the BCS group, the SOFIA Foundation, it's not controlled by us specifically. It's controlled by industry itself. And it can be used across multiple industries. It's not just used in the ICT industry. It's used by a lot of people. Okay. So this is just, I mean, you might not have heard of the Chartered Institute for IT or BCS, but we work in the background. We're not, we're very much a collaborative organization rather than a competitive organization. And so we deal with, as we said, with the skills, with the policy, with the certifications of people in the ICT industry, trying to improve ICT. And these are some of the companies that we work with, and many of them I'm sure that you'll know. And many of them work with us to deliver business analysis certifications, including the Bank of England, which is one we've been using more recently, who wholly rely on the BCS certificate in business analysis, and they said at one point they wouldn't employ anybody else without it. So it's very substantial and well-known certification across the board in all industry. So shall I move on just to outline, Ramy, a little bit more about the certificate, or have you heard enough of me?
I was no. Thanks for this introduction, and I was going to ask you about if there is some details in for the certificate. People ask for this. What are the certificates in business analysis?
Oh, we have about 20 different certificates within the business analysis portfolio. So I'll just run through these. So here we start with the foundation certificate. Then you move on to practitioner and professional certificate. We then go on to consultant. After consultant is there expert and expert, which are the two final levels, if you like. At those very highest levels, it's more of a matter of your experience and your knowledge in as much as passing a certificate. And also you will be interviewed. So the way BCS develops its portfolio of certifications, we speak to our members. Our members sit within industry at the very highest level. We coordinate with them when writing our certificates about what are the skills gaps within industry and what is needed within industry. ICT is a moving feast. It's moving all the time. It's evolving, it's developing. Our certifications have to develop with them because otherwise they find out that there are these skills gaps. And so we fill those skills gaps with new professional qualifications. And we rely on our members to input information into that certification. So we have a product developer who will go and visit industry. She'll do it online these days, but she will talk to business professionals who are generally members, and they will give their input as into what's missing. It's a term that we use is called future proofing. So it's making industry professionals ready for what's coming next. So it's quite a substantial process. We've just we review and we retire some qualifications, and we review others, and we bring them up to date, and that's happening constantly. That's happening all the time. So it's a real ongoing process. So in the business foundation certificate, there are four. I call them modules. They're four certificates essentially: business analysis, business change, organizational behavior, and commercial awareness. And to get your foundation certificate, you only have to pass one of those. So they're the basic level. In some certifications, we do have an essential level, which is a level down from foundation, but it's only in very new certificates, and we tend to retire it quite quickly as knowledge grows within the industry about that particular subject area. We then move on to practitioner certificate, which is business analysis practice, modeling business processes, requirements engineering, data management essentials, and benefit management and business acceptance. So you can just do one of those if you wish to get the practitioner certificate, but the idea is for you to move through into international diploma. And I'll just move on quickly. So even though you can sit those certificates as individual certificates and raise your awareness and your knowledge, the idea for us is for you to move through the skills framework and to move through the different certificates to get and progress through your membership. So to get to international diploma in business analysis, you have to do one certificate. That's fine, of the foundation level. And most people do business analysis foundation. I said that we do about 15 to 16,000 certificates a year, and foundation in business analysis is the leading certificate. Most people do that one to start, but the others are interesting as well. You then have to do two core practitioner certificates. So whereas you can select one of the four foundation, you have to do 2 of the core practitioner certificates to become to have the international diploma, and that is requirements engineering and business analysis practice. So they are the 2 that you have to take in order to progress through to the international diploma. You also then have to do 1 selective. So out of the remaining modeling business processes, data management, essentials, and benefit management and business acceptance, you have to choose 1 of those. And if you complete all 4 of those, so 1 foundation, 2 core practitioner, and 1 selective, that means you acquire the BCS International Diploma in Business Analysis. And that is a very significant certificate to achieve. And this is just a selection. This is the most common pathway that people take to achieve the Business International Diploma. So, so there you can see, but you can be selective in what you choose. You can go on to the Advanced International Diploma in Business Analysis. This shows you the route to take. Again, it's the one foundation, the 2 core, and the 1 selective from the practitioner level, and then you go into the professional certificate area, which include advanced requirements engineering, agile business analysis, benefits planning and realization, business architecture, business finance, data analytics, stakeholder engagement, and team leadership. So we're retiring and adding to those certificates as and when industry requires it to, but the portfolio is laid out on the website and can be accessed by all. So that's how you progress through. And most of the, just to say that most of the certificates that we have take, they take either 1 to 3 days to complete, but you're also expected to do some self-study. There are books available and information available for that. And that's it. And just to add 1 more thing, I've been in business myself 30 years, from the publishing industry all the way through to examinations and assessments at school level and at higher education. And within industry, you tend to get a little bit isolated and you learn from your colleagues, and that their learning is static to a large extent. And my learning has been static. So when I came to BCS and I saw these professional certifications and information that I didn't know in all my 30 years of business, I hadn't heard some of the acronyms and some of the strategies and some of the methods for developing and analyzing business. I hadn't even heard of them before. So I have decided, and I start next week, to do the Business Analysis Foundation myself, which hopefully I will pass. But I've got the book, the 4th edition. Thankfully, the company has decided to give me a free exam, but only 1, so I can't fail. And so I'm going to do it because I think I have been static in my CPD, in my professional development, continued professional development, and you can only learn so much. And I've been in the same organizations for a number of years, and you do become stale, and you do not move your professional development forward. And so I'm also planning to do the certificate too. And that, Ramy, is a bit of the background, if that's okay.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you for the introduction. And yes, I was abnormally quiet at the beginning of the webinar. My laptop had crashed at 10 a.m. sharp. So I'm sorry for that. I'm very sorry for that. It's not like me to be very quiet. Thank you so much, Stephen, for everything you've said. You've mentioned many points that I want to reflect upon, actually. I'll start with the most recent, the latest thing you said, about stale education and being stagnant with your learning, because I have been a business process system data analyst for 25 years, and I've worked in so many organizations, large and small. And this is what I have really seen in other BAs who need coaching. I've always been a self-developing analyst, looking for information, because I know that I never get all the education that I need simply from where I'm working or the academic education alone. Yeah. So I found this an advantage of BCS actually, because the material is highly up to date. The books, they're really up to date, they're very flexible, and you're able to dig down into particular subjects at the depth that you need.
Yes, absolutely.
Let me give an example. Islam was just asking, Islam Nader, one of our attendees, was just asking about enterprise architecture courses. And Islam, to answer you, BCS does not focus on holistic certifications per se. Their method is to build foundational competencies and knowledge and skills. So, for example, for the enterprise architecture, they have specialized topics and certifications for business architecture in particular, or data management essentials and data analysis, which comprises all the different domains of the enterprise architecture. There's no one thing that is high level. It's very detailed, and you get the option to choose what suits you best. I hope I answered your question, Islam.
Yes, thanks.
So let me go back to the membership. Stephen, you discussed the BCS membership, and I want to take this as an opportunity to mention that we are actually announcing BBL membership, which does include the BCS membership as part of it. The objective is to promote business analysis awareness and to help the BA community practice BA rightly. So it's not really about high value to pay towards the membership. And let me say that in Arabic. احنا يا جماعه نفس الممبرشيب اللي كان ستيفن بيتكلم عليها البي سي اس اللي بتدي لك access for mentoring and careers advisory and being able to take multiple courses, whether personal development or professional development. احنا بنضيف لده او بنباكج ده مع membership خاصه BBL, where you would get access to our own resources, templates, white papers and everything. ويبقى في ديسكاونت كمان على الكتب، سواء الكتب الخاصه بالبي سي اس او الكتب اللي ممكن تكون published by في نفس الدومين خاص بالبزنس اناليسيس يعني. فلو حد interested في الممبرشيب ممكن يبعت لنا ونقول له التفاصيل اكتر. I just want to be able to explain in English and Arabic to make sure everyone is in sync.
Sure.
And I also want to announce that we have a newly introduced service to our services catalog. We've always been providing business analysis as a service, which is an umbrella of, I don't want to call it consultancy because Stephen, we are a bit cautious about being misunderstood. Business analysis is different than consultancy. Consultancy, I would define it as being specialized in one domain. Okay, you've worked in one particular industry or domain repetitively, so you know that domain by heart. That's consultancy. But business analysis is all about skills and competencies. So you can work across multiple domains, relying on your competencies rather than in-depth domain knowledge. This is a foundational difference. Sometimes you can actually combine both. For example, I have worked most of my career in the financial services and banking and fintechs and so forth. So I could claim that I am a business analyst and a financial services consultant. Okay, but it's not necessarily the same for everyone, and I can work in other domains and industries and still deliver the same quality, relying just on my competencies and skills. I hope I'm not speaking too fast. If you have any questions, the audience, if you have any questions, please do unmute yourself and tell me what your thoughts are. I want this to be as interactive as possible. في حد عنده أسئلة? Open-ended questions if you want. We will start with our program shortly. I just want to make sure that what Stephen and what I have said so far does sink in and make sense. Okay, so I wanted to announce that we have just introduced a careers advisory and BA career coaching service in BBL. We've always worked providing business analysis services, requirement specification, strategy analysis, data analysis, integration analysis, and so forth. That's our main these are our main services, and it compromises around 70% of our revenue, and 30% only is for training and professional development. Recently, because we saw the need, we added a new set of services in which we will help BAs understand where they stand in terms of their BA career plan, because we have a lot of converting, BAs. They come from testing background, development background, but they have grown a passion for business analysis, and they want to understand the skill gaps. They want to know what do they need to learn in order to be appealing in the market. And this is exactly what we are going to be providing. We will be sharing the information about this service after the webinar. And of course, we are doing this with all the support and backup by BCS. We are relying entirely on the knowledge embedded within BCS in this service. Okay, I'm done with my introduction, and I think we can start. Ramy can start. Okay, over to you, Ramy.
Thank you, Angie. Thank you, Steve, for your time.